The movie starts, and we see a girl named Stella. She wakes up in the middle of the night from her father, John Bridger. Stella is worried about her father, thinking that he must be up to something bad yet again. He, however, goes on to tell her that it is going to be his last criminal activity, and he will stop after that. He is a professional safecracker who has assembled a team to steal $35 million worth of gold bullion from a safe in Venice, held by Italian gangsters who had stolen it weeks earlier. Their team includes professional fixer Charlie Croker, computer expert Lyle or Napster, wheelman Handsome Rob, inside man Steve, and explosive expert Left Ear. Left Ear comes to see Rob while he reads about Leonardo da Vinci. After that, they go on a speedboat where they join Lyle. The whole team gets connected, and we learn that John and Charlie are the two main and the most crucial people for this job. They get into the building using the boat, and Lyle gets connected to Steve. Steve goes on to take the measurements of the building on his computer. They go on to learn that their target is on the 3rd floor, and through an explosion, they make the safe fall through the floor. This is when the security guard in the building makes his way to the balcony and sees two men, Lyle and Left Ear, sailing away with a fake safe. John and Charlie, on the other hand, have the real safe and they crack it open. Left Ear realizes that they have to finish the job within 7 minutes or they could very much end up getting in trouble. The two specialists, on the other hand, manage to crack the safe open, and all we see are gold bars. The men on the boat also manage to escape by taking help from Steve's friends. The police arrive at the building, but by that time, the team has already left with all the gold with them. The mission has been completed successfully, and the team gathers in the far-off mountains to celebrate their heist. They didn't have to go through much trouble, and they ended up stealing gold worth $35 million. Rob says that he wants to use his money on beautiful ladies out there. Lyle plans on getting a big stereo, and Left Ear, on the other hand, plans on buying a big luxury house. John does not seem too thrilled. He tells Charlie that he is not happy with the life he has led. He advises the man to find someone he loves and just hold on to that person his whole life, because that is all that matters in the end. However, when they are on their way to Austria, they are stopped by two trucks that block their way from both front and back. Steve puts his head on Rob's head as his friends rob the robbers. Steve turns against them and takes the bullion for himself. Steve kills John when the latter admonishes him, and Rob drives the van over a bridge into the water to protect the others, using air tanks from the heist to stay alive. Steve leaves them for dead. However, John is the only one who dies, and Charlie is heartbroken, because he always loved and respected the man, and John also cared a great deal for him. Charlie sits there and cries as he keeps his dead friend's head in his lap. A year has gone by, and we see Stella cracking a safe open just like her father, but she's not a criminal. It is her job. When she gets back to her office, she finds Charlie waiting for her. She, of course, is not happy to see him, because she considers him to be the reason behind her dad's death. Charlie learns that Steve has resurfaced under a new identity and is laundering the gold through a Ukrainian jeweler named Yevhen to finance his lavish lifestyle in Los Angeles. Charlie then tells her that they are ready for the mission, but the only problem is that they do not have anyone who can open the safe holding their gold. So, she goes on to offer her to join them all. Stella refuses right away, and Charlie tells her to think about it. That night, Stella thinks about it and decides to join the group. She calls Charlie and tells him that she's in. They decide to meet up at a spot, and Charlie introduces her to the whole team. Rob gives everyone fake IDs and tells them that they are going to meet in LA now. We see that the security is really tight. They have petrol dogs, security guards, and a very advanced security system that seems invincible. Rob then goes on to tell them about the traffic, which is really bad, and goes on to point out that it is going to take them 14 minutes if they are lucky enough to get all the lights green. That night, Charlie goes to see Stella when she's enjoying some music. He invites the woman for a drink in order for them to get to know each other better. She, however, tells him that she doesn't feel like it. Rob, on the other hand, flirts with an employee of a netcom company. After sleeping with her, he goes on to mold her key and gives it to Stella. That night, Steve goes to see the dealer he has been selling gold to. The man tells him that he only has the money to buy 2 bricks, and Steve gets upset. Steve calls the netcom services to fix a problem at his mansion, and this is their cue to send Stella to go in and take a look at the interior of Steve's mansion. They stake out Steve's mansion, and Stella, disguising herself as a cable technician, is able to map out its interior, allowing them to determine the location of Steve's safe, containing the remaining bullion. When Stella is there at Steve's place, Steve starts hitting on her and goes on to ask her on a date. Stella tells him that she will think about it. Charlie learns this and tells Stella to say yes to going on a date with the man, because by the time that he realizes he has been stood up, they will be out of there with the gold. The team makes a plan on how they are going to get the gold and bring it to the train station. Charlie goes on to learn about the width of the hallways in Steve's mansion. Stella also turns out to be a really good driver, and she is happy about having her skills used in something significant. Charlie and Stella devise a plan using explosive to blow the safe while Steve is away on his supposed date, using 3 heavily modified Mini Coopers to transport the gold out of the mansion. Charlie enlists the help of supplier Skinny Pete for the explosive and mechanic Wrench to make the modifications on the cars. Steve goes to Yevhen to sell some more bricks. Yevhen accidentally reveals that he knows about the Venice heist. To cover his tracks, Steve kills Yevhen, whose cousin Mashkov, the leader of a Ukrainian crime family, traces the information about the gold back to Skinny Pete via Yevhen's ex-employee Vance. They are ready to execute the plan now. The whole team gathers and goes over the whole plan once again. The group embarks on the night of the planned heist, but discovers that Steve's neighbors are having a party. As the explosive would draw attention, they cancel their plan as Charlie says that there could be too many witnesses. Stella, still having to meet Steve, inadvertently gives away her identity by using similar phrases to her father. When the team arrives to help protect her, Steve taunts them, saying that he still has the upper hand, but he secretly plans to transport the gold to Mexico City by a private plane from Los Angeles International Airport after transporting it there in an armored car. Napster hears of this through his tap on Steve's phone, and Charlie and his gang make a new plan to steal the gold en route to the airport by hijacking the city's traffic control system to force the armored car to a planned spot where they will execute the heist. The group is very surprised when they see 3 armored trucks leave Steve's mansion, but Napster is able to determine which one carries the bullion and manipulates the traffic accordingly. Knowing that Steve is monitoring the transport by helicopter, they get the car to the target spot and then create a diversion as they detonate explosives to drop the part of the road with the car into a subway tunnel below. After opening the truck, they find a different safe from the one that held the gold before. Although she struggles initially, Stella cracks the safe and they load up the Coopers with the gold, now revealed to be worth of $27 million. They race from the subway to the Los Angeles River and through the city, pursued by Steve's henchmen on motorcycles. With Napster creating a green wave to evade traffic, Stella, Rob, and Lefty Ear head to the Union Station, while Charlie decides to lure Steve away on his helicopter. Steve tries to kill Charlie by having his helicopter pilot destroy Charlie's Mini Cooper, but he disables Steve's helicopter by damaging its tail rotor with his car, forcing it to land. Steve carjacks a Ford Bronco to follow Charlie to Union Station, where the cars are loaded onto a train with the help of Wrench. Steve bribes Wrench to let him in, but finds Charlie and the others waiting. He brandishes a gun and demands his gold back, but Mashko arrives with some armed men and disarms him. Charlie explains that he has offered Mashkov part of the gold and Steve in exchange for helping with the security protection. Stella punches Steve in the face as revenge. Mashkov then takes him away, saying he is going to deal with him in his own brutal ways to avenge Yevhen. The group boards the train as it departs from New Orleans and celebrates in John's honor. We then see that everyone is happy to have the gold and they go on to buy their desired stuff. Handsome Rob goes on to purchase an Aston Martin Vanquish, getting pulled over by a beautiful police woman. Left Ear buys a mansion in Andalusia with a room for his shoe collection, while Napster buys a powerful stereo capable of blowing a woman's clothes off. Meanwhile, Charlie takes John's advice about finding someone he wants to spend the rest of his life with, and he and Stella travel to Venice together, implying that they are together now, and with that, the movie ends.